Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Welcome back to Wind Tunnel TV. Tonight, it's the East Coast Web Printers Gen 6 series here in the Corn Dog 200, live from Iowa Motor Speedway. I'm Dean Doucette, special guest host, Mr. Adam, the Bulldog Newton in the booth. Adam, man, we good old Iowa here, back-to-back short track action.
Yeah, it's deja vu. We were here a couple weeks ago and we made a round trip right back to it. Hopefully we'll see some good racing like we saw last go round, and it should be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it really should. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what everybody's got in store under the lights here. Of course, we look at the points, but we built a little new system tonight. No points here tonight, but I believe you got to look in on them, Adam. Why don't you run down our top few drivers there in the points competition?
Yeah, right now we got a pretty close battle for the lead right now between Bryce Reiner and Lance Ripka. They're only separated by 3 points, followed by Jason Jackson, George Leal, Jason Spear, Michael Walker, Brian Helm, Todd Gilly, Darian Bruce, and Tony Ratliff. It's not a very big spread right now. It's a little over 80 points from 10th to 1st.
I always love seeing that kind of thing. Nice, tight racing. Here's a look at Iowa Motor Speedway. You know, it's like almost like a mini cookie cutter. You know, it's got the tri-oval part of the track and everything else, but it doesn't quite drive that way, does it, Adam?
No, and a lot of folks say, because this is technically the sister track to Richmond, that they, would drive the same, and they don't. You have totally different entry and line that you would run in a 1 and 2. You have a real big bump in the middle of 1. Then you have to really float it in either high or low. The guys that are going to save tires are going to stick to the yellow line. The guys that just want to be pacing and have a good run down the straight, they're going to run up high to keep their speed up, Dean.
All right, nice, cool track here this evening. Let's get into tonight's starting grid. It's going to be George Leal with a time of 22.669. He will be on the point here this evening. Lance Buckshot Ripka will start in second. Row 2 will feature Greg Ratliff and Bernard Persson. Troy Torgerson will be starting in 5th, along with Brian Helm on the outside of row 3. In row 4, it's Jackson and Tony Ratliff. Row 5, Lester and Bruce. Row 6, A-Bear and Ledford. Looking a little further back, you got Paul K. Travis, Jason Brantley. It's Claus Williams and Brandon Sheffield in row number 8. Row 9 features Jason Spear and Ian Spear. So uncle there on the inside of the nephew. And then it's Otto Viani, Leal, Reiner, Berthwick. And rounding out the field, you've got Walker II, Herb Ashley, Royce Valley, Eric Whiting, the Toad Man, Todd Gilly, and Michael Fleming bringing up the rear.
Yeah, if you remember from the last time we were here, we actually had a really, really exciting finish. And George Leal and Bryce Reiner ended up wrecking on the front straightaway, and it caused a really crazy finish this race. See if we're going to get that same kind of action here this time.
I mean, I'm sure it will. The thing with Iowa is it could get crazy, or you could get spread out and go green. So we'll see which road they take here this evening. Under the lights, always exciting. Cars look beautiful. And corn dogs are on the mind here in the Corn Dog 200. I need one out of them.
Oh, man, I would love a corn dog right now. I'm hungry.
I'm telling you. All right, Leal and Ripka, Ratliff and Person ready to get rocking here in the Corn Dog 200. Good start there by Leal. Ripka, pretty good job on the outside. Looks like he's going to hang on to second. The big dog, though, down on the inside says not so fast.
Yeah, they got a pretty good start right then, and several guys on the high side had to check up. There was a couple slow cars back there from Tony Ratliff on back, but I see some guys trying to get to the bottom right now to kind of save them tires right away.
Interesting there. The high lane prevailing for Ripka and Person as they go around Greg Ratliff. Helm with a big head of steam. He's rocking the high. He takes it down to the middle now, though.
Yeah, you got a couple guys that are trying. Oh, we're three wide right there between Jackson and Helm, and look like Troy.
Torgerson right there in the middle. They sorted out. Everybody's all right. Bruce down on the bottom. Looks like he's making moves. Here comes Sheffield as well. Back in 11th. He's already picked up 5 spots.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some guys that are going to try to push it right now because this. I noticed we ran a couple laps last night in practice. The cars were super tight on entry, and you had to really roll the corner. But if you rolled it too much, you would get loose on exit. And I've already seen a car or two get a little bit loose as Bernie goes for the lead in turn 4 right now. He's making moves real quick, like I said, to get that clean air.
Yeah, Bernard Person to the front. The 8 machine now takes the lead, and you can see the sparks flying. Adam, what is that an indication of there? It seemed like on entry into that corner, you see sparks coming out of the rear.
Yeah, with this particular car, and I don't, they didn't do a tire update on this vehicle. If you drive it in too hard, the car is slamming the track a little bit, and it's going to do it throughout the race, especially if you try to go deeper with the car.
All right, everybody's starting to get sorted out. Single file here. Bruce still making moves. Bruce looking to go underneath a Tony Ratliff. That's going to be tough to make any passes, and that's the thing. Adam, what do you do here? Do you conserve and try and make your moves later? Or is this, hey, I got the good feel-goods right now, let's go get her done before they're gone?
I think the faster guys are going to try to get up there, get some positions, and then try to hang on. Because these cars are so airtight, they're so hard to pass. I know you know who I'm going to say, the sandbagger. Bryce is going to save his tires, and so is George Leal, because I kind of see George is pacing himself right now, but it's a 50-50. It just depends on who runs what and where. Right now, I see a couple guys are saving.
Right now, what I'm seeing is a 15 falling. Darren Burt's getting passed by about 4 or 5 cars here. Not sure if there's some kind of problem with that 30 South machine, but he is definitely off the pace. Out front, Person still leading, starting to walk away, open up about a second to George Leal. Here comes Brian Helm.
Yeah, Brian is really putting the heat on George to get up there to get the second place right now, and he did this the last time we were here. He had a lot of speed, but on his long run he fell off. But I think Brian may have learned a thing or two just to kind of get it in his little rhythm, save a little bit of his car, and see if he can make that long run.
Yeah, well, we're talking to him in the pre-race. It seemed like he was working on it. It seemed like he's working on getting that car evenly distributed with the wear. We'll see. Long run here is a real long run. You're looking at 80 laps to the halfway mark. Right now, Lance Buckshot Ripka is starting to come forward. And don't count out Greg Ratliff. He was slow at the start. Is he planning on the long run?
Yeah, it definitely looks like he's planning on the wrong run. And somebody else that's usually real good here is the big dog. He's usually pretty good here, but I think he needs to clean air right now. It looks like his car is a little bit tighter than what he wants it right now.
Jump on board with him right away here, Adam, with Greg Ratliff as he heads down into 1. And I just want the people to see these bumps. They're quite dramatic.
Yeah, it's been, they did the update on this particular track with the paving and stuff, and I think they actually made the bump where you can feel it more than what you used to.
Yeah, I think it's where he went. That time, not bad, but the time he hit it before, let's look one more time. I think it's, if you go too low, maybe, you're going to get him pretty good. And you see there, a little bump. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's affecting him as much as it did in that one lap. What's that an indicator of here, Adam? I mean, he's just missing them one lap and hitting them in another?
Yeah, it's a sweet spot going into turn one. Bernie is actually doing it the way I would do it. You need to do a long sweeping arc in one, and that would be to keep your head of steam coming off the corner. But it looks like some of these guys, especially Greg that I'm riding on right now, he's struggling right now, especially on entry with the tightness of the car.
And we go on board with Person. You can see there a much more defined high to low action. Little loose off. He fights it there. So interesting, the different lines. And he goes to a high side mainly in 3 and 4. So distinctly different line here from Mr. Person. Helm up there on the high side now. He's looking good in second. You got Leal in third. Then Ripka, Ratliff, Jackson, Torgerson, Sheffield now up 8 spots into 8th. And then it's Tony Ratliff and Fred Lester. How about, Tom, we'll go with Tom. How about Tom Lester? He's looking to pick up another one. Lester looking racy here tonight.
Oh, Fred Tom Lester. He's a good dude. He's got 3 first names. Heck of a combination. But yeah, Fred Tom is doing real good right now. He's picking them off one by one.
I don't remember the last time I've seen him up here in the top 10, looking racy, making moves. So the 78 has got some kind of comfort level tonight. I love it.
Yeah, Tom actually does really well Fred Tom does really well at this track. And he's real smooth, whether it's the 87s, these cars, the Xfinity, or the trucks. It's something about his driving style that suits him here really well.
Of course, there is Paul K. Travis rocking the East Coast web printers machine. He's currently shown in 10th, up 3 spots. Now, Paul K., he's showing speed. I mean, in a lot of tracks, Adam, we see a speed out of him, but maybe not necessarily the finishes that he's looking for.
Yeah, and some of it's bad luck, some of it's driver error. We all have to pray to the racing gods for a good race, and sometimes you really have bad luck in this deal, but he's had some bad luck here recently. But yeah, he's definitely had speed. He just hadn't been able to have a clean or good race.
Well, speaking of speed, you got Bryce Reiner out here in 15th position, Adam. I mean, poor qualifying effort. Not used to seeing that from the 14. He's up 8 spots, much like Sheffield, who's up in 8th, but he's back in 15th in traffic. He's got a lot of work to do, doesn't he?
He is, but I've been flipping through the field, just looking at some cars. You can hear the sand falling out of his car at times. I think he's really, really trying to do a one-stopper. And I've noticed that with a couple other guys. They are running such a more patient race than the guys from, say, 8th place on up. It's like they're pacing themselves to be in a certain lap time, and I think they're going to try to do that, to make it on a one late stop.
Well, they definitely can make it on one stop, right? We're looking at around 90, 95 laps. Guys can stretch it to. They only got to do 80 laps, but I think the bigger concern probably those tires, isn't it, Adam?
I think the last time we were here it was a combination. It was a combination that the tires were so burnt up on the front that you couldn't stretch it all the way on the one stop. Some guys actually, if I remember correctly, Brian Helm made it a multiple stop race, and there was 2 or 3 others. But then we had those late cautions in that last race. So yeah, I think some
Now,
of them were
was that
actually
not the Xfinity car you're talking about?
no, it was actually in this car.
Okay.
And Bryce Reiner and George Leal got wrapped up in the front straightaway towards the end of the race, and then everybody got 4 field goods and whatnot. But that's exactly what I'm seeing right now. Is some guys are really slowing down their pace to save their equipment.
Jason Brantley back here in 13th, making a move underneath of Darren Bruce. So put the second East Coast Web Printers machine now up into 13th. So Brantley looking pretty good here this evening. Back up front, Person still alone, but Helm hanging in. He was closing in, and then he's faded a bit here. So these guys pretty even up front. He's about a second behind. Leal in third right there, and then Ripka, Ratliff, Jackson, Torgensen, Sheffield, the top 8. Lester and Travis are in the top 10. And Lester, I'm telling you, he looks good. He is caught up to Sheffield here. He's looking for more.
Yeah, I noticed that him and it's like 2 or 3 other guys in this group, Dean. If you watch him, like Brian is really struggling right now. His car is pushing real tight, and I noticed Bernie's is starting to as well. But guys like Leo, Ripka, and Tom, and even Sheffield, they seem to be rolling the bottom really, really good right now.
And that is the key to a long-term strategy here. We're on lap 30 of 160 in the Corn Dog 200 here in the East Coast Web Printers Gen 6 series. Bernard Person
happy to be here.
Yeah, it looks like the man of the hour from Top Gun finally showed up.
Showed up because he heard the word corn dog. It's like calling him. I think I said it 3 times.
I was signaled from Chicago. They said, Dean's got corn dogs. I better get there in a hurry.
Absolutely. We bring on Baron Labosco, of course. Baron, good one cooking here. Green so far, lap 32. Person scooted out to the lead. Helm scooted up to second. And now we're waiting for the developments on who's got what here on the long run.
Well, you know what, Dean? I was listening to Adam when I popped in, and Adam raises a good point. I remember what Adam was talking about. There were some long-run guys in that last race that we were out here. And Dean, like, some of these guys really had it down to the last lap, figured out. And what I've noticed here with Bernard Person is, he's going for everything, isn't he? He's right out in front. He's headed to the front, and he's going to let the race fall out the way it can.
Well, he is. And one thing I'll tell you, Baron, is that track position anywhere, but here as well, is extremely important. Him being out front, you might think he's burning up his stuff, and he likely is to some degree, but it's so much of a benefit to be out front, isn't it, Adam?
Well, absolutely. Clean air is king here because you can do your own pace. And if you need to, you can take the air off the guy from behind to tighten him up so they can't try to pass you.
Speaking of passing, Leal working on Helm. This is going to be a tough pass with Helm on the high side, Leal down low, and you can see the massive run the 46 is getting. Barrett, Leal's going to wear his stuff out trying to work around this machine.
I know we've talked about them wearing their stuff out on the bottom, but Dean, I don't remember really playing into the race until the end. Some of these guys are just better at saving tires than others. Adam, that is generally got an Adam Newton feel to it. What are you doing different that the other guys aren't?
Well, for me, I'm doing 2 things, and especially here, and the master, the one in the booth with me, he showed me, and I call it the Dean line. You really have to back your corner up and roll the center and wait till that car plants and then get back on the gas, and that allows you to have a clean, straight run off the corner to save that right front. The guy that saves the right front the best is going to be the fastest on the long run here, period, hands down.
So we got a little gaggle here forming right now. Helm and Leal still fighting. Greg Ratliff sticking his nose underneath a Ripka. So these guys are really going at it all along. Person able to stretch it out just a little bit. Well, about the same, about a second lead for him. And it looked like Helm that time a little too high. And Leal's going to clear him. The crossover engaged here.
Yeah, I tell you, he's really trying to keep him behind him right now, and that'll allow Bernie to just continue to do his thing. But I think overall, unless Brian can slide back up in front of him, he's going to start to fall into the clutches of Ripka and Jackson. But I keep watching Fred Tom. Tom is doing his thing and just keeps coming forward.
Yeah, Tom looking great tonight as he moves by Troy Torgerson as I need another corner.
Oh, we got a wreck, Dean. We got a big wreck.
Oh, it's Helm. Looks like Helm and Ratliff have come together.
Oh, no.
Or that's Ripka, sorry. Ripka and Helm have come together. Big wreck. Oh, boy.
And I was just about to start singing the praises of Lance Ripka and how he's really learned this car and started to really start turning in some great finishes with it. And this is just tragedy for him here, Dean.
Yeah, this is, we'll try and slow it down here and see what happened. But this is two guys racing for the same part of the track here off the corner. You see the 52's a little bit unstable on exit, but the 46 is right up against him. I think he was trying to clear him. No lift from Ripka, not that he had to do that. And it looked like Helm was trying to clear him and just not clear.
Yeah, and you know, it's such a fine line when you get to that point, because sometimes iRacing will say car there and sometimes it won't. But when you're trying to get up off that corner, that's a super hard spot to see visually to see if you actually cleared the guy behind you. But Tom Lester got in that wreck as well.
Oh, I missed that. Was Lester was involved too?
Yeah, Lester and Troy were both in that wreck as well.
We'll have to go back here when these guys get off of pit road. We'll see who gets out first. Have another look at that.
Yep. Question for the booth. When do you know you're clear? Like, what is your sign? I know what mine is. What do you guys use? I know I'm clear. I'm going to be close.
My thing is I use all the mirrors in the car. And when I see the nose in the third mirror, the big mirror up top, that's when I take it that I am clear on that guy. I try to take a little bit of extra caution to, you know, ensure that I can see that part of his car. Because, you know, with the smaller mirror, it gives you a false sense of security.
As I'm hunting to try to move the camera here we go. So we see the secondary incident here.
Oh, no.
Lester with avoidance down into Torgerson. And it looks like Lester come out of it all right. Can't say the same for Torgerson. Not too bad, though. I think he's mostly okay. You know, pretty slight incident there for those two.
Yeah, they both have a slight little fender bends on. Like Brian Helm's got still a little bend in the right front fender. And Lester has a little bend in his car as well, and so does Troy. I don't think it was nothing major.
Yeah, going back to your question earlier, Baron, that's so tough trying to decide if you're clear or not. What I generally do is just stay low. You know, even if I'm clear, I don't trust it. I don't trust my spotter. I don't even trust my own eyes. So until I'm good and sure, I'm going to keep a car length off of that wall.
Yeah, I think I follow the Adam Newton rule of thumb. If I can see the front end of that car in my rearview mirror, I'm clear enough.
10-4. All right, so up front, looked like maybe Jason Jackson was our winner on pit road. Maybe Torgerson as well. Lester down on the inside. Don't look now, but Sheffield and Reiner are climbing up into the top 10. Watch out for them.
That's trouble. Yeah, that's trouble.
You know, I'm actually surprised that nobody did what, and I can't remember what car it was, but they took 2 tires here, and it actually did really, really well. I'm surprised
Bryce
nobody
Reiner,
actually.
wasn't it?
I think it was, and it actually worked out really, really well, especially for the track position.
Green flag.
I think
All
he ended up
we got a bit of a
third
thing.
after leading a bunch.
Lester a little slow, looked like he might have got a little push from Reiner, but he's up and running. They're all safe.
Yeah, Bernie is really enjoying that clean air in the lead. He just gets such a monster run off that exit.
He absolutely is loving it. So pit stops here. We're on lap 45. That's going to shift things. Don't think anybody can do 100 and some odd laps on fuel. So we'll have another stop. You take it at about 110. Like we're looking at about 55 laps from stops. That's
Yeah,
some
and you
Canadian
know,
math there for you at home trying to figure that out.
well, I was going to throw this question back to you and Barron. I know this being one of your favorite tracks, Dean. I don't know what Barron thinks about it, but with the tightness of these cars, how would y'all approach this race?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a standard. I've been running the same line at this track for years and years. Low in 1 and 2 with a late exit, and high in 3 and 4. Put your lefts up on that first seam off the wall and rock and roll. You should be good to go.
I'm a bottom feeder, Adam. I prefer the bottom at this track. I run better at the bottom on this track. And if the car is tight, I can negotiate that with some brakes. And if the car is loose, God help them if they're on the outside.
I love it. Barron with the old
Just being
God
honest
help
here.
Yeah, you want to risk your life, you go right ahead.
Yeah, you can pass me out there, but you know I'm loose. Here I come.
All right,
Yeah,
good
I mean,
racing in here.
You know, over the years that cars, and I mean, not this particular car since it's a legacy car now, but you know, the times with the tires, the updates and stuff, everybody has, you know, a slightly different way to approach a track, especially like the guys from Fleming on back. They're, you know, George Leo's brother. I mean, these guys are being really racy right now. And I don't see them saving that tire like they were, you know, at the beginning of the race.
We're on board here with Paul Travis Sr. And you can see he just got past, and now Rachel Hunt is right behind him. Darren Bruce down there, he slides in front of Hunt, who we just switched to. She crosses him over.
I tell you, Rachel the last couple of weeks has been extremely racy. She had a real good race going on at Martinsville before her incident, but you know, she runs a really unorthodox line at some of these tracks, and it works.
Yeah, she's been teaching out there, and I love that. Innovating, you might say, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, she runs the craziest line I've ever seen at Richmond, and it works. And I see different things she's doing right now, and she's chipping one off at a time, but she's making her way up through the field.
She is up 8 spots. One of our biggest movers on the track. Another one I want to check in on, Michael Fleming. In brackets, Shane. I'm not sure. Maybe he wants to go by Shane.
And that beautiful Mac car, the Bulldog.
Got the Bulldog, eh? That rings a little bell there, doesn't it, Adam?
I love that car. He's not a nightmare tonight, though.
How about those footprints going up the hood there? Not something.
Yeah, that's a beautiful car. I love that paint scheme.
So he's having a great night, up 14. Bryce Reiner in the 14. He is up 15 spots. And Sheffield working his way all the way up to 4th. He's up 12. Our race leader, Mr. Bernard Person, he has opened up a 1.8 second lead, and I got to tell you, that caution helped Bernie. A short run guy, I mean, he can do long run too, but he's more comfortable on the short run, and now we got 2 shorter runs, Baron. I mean, the Everything's fallen his way so far.
Yeah, and if you're talking about short runs, you're right, it's playing into his hand. Bernie's pretty good at a long run car, too. So how much is he really putting on the track right now with this kind of cushy gap he's got? It's a small track. He doesn't really need to push very hard. The car will give him everything he wants, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the beauty is out front, you can use the whole track here. Just let that thing drift up to the wall every lap. So big advantage to him. Of course, Leal stalking. He's behind now. He's closing in a hair, I guess. And watch out for him as this run goes along. Everything's starting to get settled down up front.
Yeah, the one I'm really looking at, I'm surprised that Lance must have a little bit more damage than I thought, because he's not, him and Helm aren't making any headway from back there to back right now.
No, they're really not, and that's interesting. Back in traffic, Iowa's a much different ball game. I stated it in the pregame to a couple drivers as a track position is your friend here. You do not want to get behind all these cars. As we look in at Claus Williams here, he's up a couple of spots in 13th. He just got, he was in a battle there. I believe he lost that battle with Paul K. Travis.
Well, Byron, Baron, I know what you would do on this pit stop, but I'm kind of, do you short pit or do you stay out like they did last time they were here?
Well, Pit Strategy won this race last time, right? And so if you can shorten the pit window and gain some advantage on pit row, why wouldn't you?
Looking on Tom Lester, still having a run here. Old Fred Tom into 5th place. He said he had 3 first names. Dare I ask the other one, Adam?
Lester.
Okay.
It's Fred Tom Lester.
That's a complicated last name.
I think I want to go drinking with him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fun to hang around with. Tom's a great guy. I've known him for a long time.
Torgerson made it up to 6, had a good pit stop. He's got the big dog, Greg Ratliff, there in 7th. Both of them down from where they started slightly, so they're working on it. There's Bryce Reiner right behind him. Rachel, who's up 9 spots now, rocking my line up there on that seam. I love it.
Yeah, I've noticed that Rachel and Reiner right now, and Tom at times, are the only ones I've seen that are really, really high up the track right now, and it seems to be working. They're getting a lot more speed down the straightaways to try to make that pass, and as soon as I say that, Tom goes right to the bottom.
Well, it's key for passing, right? I mean, if you're alone on the track, that's different. You can run the bottom in 3 and 4, but if you're side by side, I guarantee you want to be on the high side. So Rachel slowly but surely working over Tony Ratliff here. Or maybe vice versa. Tony was working on here and couldn't get it done. Person now still 2-second lead. And you see Leal in the clutches here of Jackson, Sheffield, and Lester. Jackson pokes his nose down to the bottom. So, Baron, dare we ask about the trials and tribulations of taking planes across the planet here?
It ain't a glamorous thing anymore, Dean. The great city of Chicago, Illinois has 2 airports, and neither one of them work for shit.
Now, we got to talk about stewardesses, though. Are they still up there?
Mine look like a guppy.
Okay.
Oh, so no mile high club for you tonight.
Not this time.
Sheffield with the power move couldn't make it stick. He'll have to back out of it. Leal slings it around on the high side. So these two continue to fight. Person continues to lead. Behind them, the big dog loose off the corner. The 5, Lester, comes through on the high side. The 78 up to 5th. And now Greg is 3 wide. Wow, Reiner backed out of that situation. I'm telling you, that was going to be ugly. Reiner, nice job, gentlemanly driving there, backing out of that.
That was mighty nice of him.
Yeah, there's a couple guys right now that I see that are really making up a little bit of headway on the bottom, but you know, I see the laps are winding down. I mean, if you're going to make some moves to do a short pit, you got to go. I mean,
yeah, well, the thing is, Adam, the low side around the whole track, it'll pay off, but we're talking on an 80-lap run between lap 60 and 80. Well, we're not going to see lap 60 and 80 in these runs because of that early caution, so the advantage isn't there. I think these guys, what you just said, it's time to go. I mean, get up on it, get in the middle of the track or the high side, and let's get the gas going.
Yeah, and because, you know, I've been watching Big Dog and Fred Tom and Reiner, and even Rachel is kind of slid back down to the bottom of the track. It's almost like they get to run and the car is just so aero tight at this point in the tire run that you can't do anything, and if you push it on the bottom, you're going to get loose and everybody's just going to fly on by you.
That's kind of what we're seeing right now from Greg Ratliff. Committed to the bottom. He keeps getting up to fight Lester. That's one thing, but he can't get it done. And now Reiner is going to drive by him. And wow, Person on pit road. What has happened? Bernard Person, our leader, pulling off the track, going down pit road on lap 74. Unscheduled stop for the 8 machine. From the lead, a 2-second lead. The 8 coming in. This could be a retirement. This could be something going on at home. I don't know. He's getting tires, though. We'll stick with him and see if he comes back out here, Baron.
That's crazy. I mean, he's completely out of his pit window, so
he is not coming back on the track. This is a home issue. That's a retirement, folks. We got a brand new race. The 8 has retired from the lead. So Leal, Sheffield, and Jackson are now your race competitors up front. And here comes Reiner.
Oh, that's crazy.
This thing just flipped on its head. I mean, this we've seen this before. I mean, Bernard Person I'm searching for a word here, but a great family man. He probably got a call from his daughter or something, and duty calls, he is off and running.
Well, Ratliff is on pit road as well, Dean.
So Greg Ratliff comes on to pit road. That's interesting. And there's no service being done on the 5 machine. So very strange evening here. Got to look around for a full moon. I can't find one. Maybe the Northern Lights struck. I'm not sure.
Maybe they came in for a corn dog and some scream.
Ah, a corn dog dipped in ice cream.
He went with the scream.
Oh no, Sheffield wildly loose off the corner underneath the Leal. He holds on to it.
Yeah, I see this race really tightening up for the lead now.
Well, after that, that's going to give a little breathing room to our leader, Mr. George Leal. So Leal, who had a fight on his hands with Person, is now the favorite out here. We have reached the halfway mark in the Corn Dog 200.
The Corn Dog 200. That is the
well,
best
we
name
had
ever.
an alternative name there, but you know, we had
That is
to
the
scrap
best
that
name
one.
ever. I don't care who you are. It's the best name ever.
I mean, he don't like a corn dog.
Well, you notice
I'm a fan.
this racetrack is right there at the fairgrounds, so corn dogs and fairgrounds go together with racing.
Now, back in your day, the local fairgrounds What was your favorite there, Mr. Newton?
The deep fried turkey leg and a hot dog, a Martinsville hot dog.
You know, I was expecting something like, oh God, what's the pink stuff on the stick there?
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy, thank you. As I forgot, cotton candy. I was expecting something like that, not a deep fried turkey leg.
Oh no, man. They had the deep fried turkey leg soaked in barbecue sauce. Them things are awesome, man. And the honey butter biscuits that had the maple syrup bacon in the middle. They were awesome too.
All right. Some great stuff there from the Bulldog. Reiner
I went for the
and
beer.
Leo going at it. What's that, Mr. Labosco?
I went there for the beer.
But you're only 13, Baron.
Okay, I got my brother to buy it.
Still getting the beer. All right, Leo and Reiner, familiar faces at the front. Sheffield right behind them. Jackson in tow. Torgerson in fifth. It's Ratliff, Hunt, Travis, Brantley, and Claus Williams, your top 10.
Yeah, we had an instant replay of this last time we were here.
Yeah, looks like we're good. Deja vu all over again.
Yeah, the only one that's different in the mix is the guy that bump and run is what I'm gonna call him. Yeah, he's the only one that's different in the mix.
A little personal vendetta on the airwaves here tonight.
Sense the animosity from Indianapolis.
Well, let's just leave that one alone here for now in the booth. But Leo and Reiner going at it. Sheffield right there in the catbird seat. And I wouldn't mind being in Sheffield's spot right now. I mean, unless I was severely faster, here you can just kind of manage your stuff, can't you, Baron?
You can. And I was never very good at it, but you can. And these guys, like this group right here, Dean, these are, championship contenders. These are multiple checkered flag winners. I don't know there's a lot of saving going on right here.
No, these guys are fighting for all they're worth right now. Now, they're not trying to use up their stuff, but they're not holding back much of anything here. Riding side by side like this, lap after lap, this is one track that it doesn't hurt you as much. Two distinct lines through 3 and 4, so they're not getting too harmed from this. But Jackson back here lurking. He's probably pedaling that thing a bit, but we're close to pit stops. I mean, Adam, when do you come in here? We were in, let's have a little look here. We were in on lap 41, so we are currently about 47 laps into this run. I mean, how much further do you go here? You go to 110 or so?
I would say 110, 120, split it and have a 40 or 45 lap run to the end.
And we know, Baron, from covering these guys, that they all go long almost every race. So do we expect to see that again here tonight?
I would. I mean, I don't know why you would actually change the strategy. It's working. These guys are winning races with it. I would. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
I mean, I get it. I mean, I would love to see someone short pit. I mean, come in now. Why not? 70 laps, no problem. Get yourself a lead, make them chase you. They got to catch you first, and then they got to try and pass you on the low side. I mean, if I'm, I don't know, Torgerson, if I'm Ratliff, Hunt, come in right now. Why not?
Yeah, the only thing that I don't know if Sheffield is the one in the best position right now. And the only reason why I say this, he's really pushing as much as Reiner. I feel like the one that's in the catbird seat lurking is Jackson. Because I'd be saving my tires, let these other guys burn their crap up.
Well, Jackson has become a very cagey veteran, and he's doing just that. I mean, he's proven it. I mean, I go back to you again, Baron, because we've called these races. We've seen Jackson's improvement on how he manages his car, haven't we?
100% correct, Dean. And at one point, points leader for the series due to that consistency and that learning curve. This is a man who means to get better and practices at it. He hones his craft week in and week out. It's showing in results.
Yeah, it really is. I've been very impressed with how he's come along. He might disagree and said, I've always been like that. You just never noticed. Who knows? But from my perspective, he's improved a great deal. And right now, Reiner looking for the lead. He's got it. So he gets out in front of Leo. Leo will try and cross him over. That won't work here at Iowa, I don't believe. Reiner should drive right around him. Leo pushes up almost into him, gets loose. Sheffield going to go by.
He did the same move like last time. And remember, last time when they did that, they wrecked on the front straightaway.
Well, and Sheffield almost overdrove one there and almost took out Reiner. So guys are pressing a little bit as they realize the time is now. Even though there's a lot of time left.
A lot of laps.
Jason Spear with the short pit. I love this move. So he comes in from around 14th position, and I love it. I mean, this is a great call. First in, he's going to get so much track position. You watch. He come in around 14th. Someone write it down. He is going to be up in the top 10 once his cycle is all done. You know, and then there's silence in the booth because these guys don't write well. It takes a while.
I didn't know I need my pen.
Gotta get my glasses out. My goodness. Torgerson on the high side.
If there's going to be a quiz, I hear my mom calling.
I hear you there. Bruce heads to pit road. We know how good he is on pit road, so the cycle has begun. Now, this is great for these guys coming in now, because I guarantee you these leaders are not going to come in. I don't guarantee it. I take that back. But I think they won't come in for another 10 or 20 laps. This is going to get wild. Williams is in.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to push it and get that gap and try to maintain that distance to keep the lead versus staying out long like they did last time.
Paul Berthwick getting a little time on camera here. The 67, he's got that Hendricks machine out there, and he is battling with their leader, so he gets through finally. Others on pit road. Ian Spear we haven't touched on tonight. Of course, Ian's corner of faith, where scripture meets life. So go check that out on Facebook with Ian Spear. Rachel Hunt is in. George Leal is in. So Leal come in. So that's why I didn't promise anything. Pit stops have started and follow the leader has begun.
Well, I think they learned an important lesson from the last time. And I think now Bryce is going to have to pit here to stay up with him, or they're going to be having to catch up, because my feeling George's going to put the hammer down is what I suspect.
Torgerson with what looked like an aggressive pit stop there. Love it. Yeah, I like the call, Adam. I think you're right. I think that these guys just seen some of these guys pit and they're going to have to cover them off. But I tell you, Reiner and Sheffield, they are stubborn with this long pit strategy, and it could pay off or it could bite them. Tony Ratliff on pit road. Tom Ashley comes in. You can see the difference. Ian Spear getting by Sheffield here. Brantley now in third position, so the East Coast Web Printers machine moving up. Ripka on pit road with A. Bear and Corey Leal coming in. Now Ian Spear goes by our race leader, nice and clean. So no harm, no foul to Reiner. Brantley hits pit road from third. That'll give Helm, well, Helm comes in right behind him. So Lester will move up to third now.
Yeah, Bryce is just opening up that gap on Sheffield. I really think that this is maybe the wrong move at this point in the race. Maybe it not. I mean, maybe they're going to push it for 40 laps. Who knows?
You see the Toad Man coming into your picture, going by our race leader. So the 19, now he's got to get down to the bottom a little bit there.
Oh, wow, Sheffield
on pit road.
He came in hot.
All right, aggressive stop by Sheffield. Let's bring up our pit times and just see there. Reiner coming in, and it looked like he was sideways for a second, but could have been just a camera angle there.
That's close.
So our leaders are on pit road, Reiner and Sheffield. 1 lap apart, Sheffield down and away. And that was a 15-2 stop, so not a great in the stall stop. A 47.7 overall, pretty good. So you were right, he was great getting on pit road, not so great in the stall though, Adam.
Yeah, and it's going to be, you know, he'll make some spots up right now, but he's really going to have to make up some time to catch back up to Leo right now.
So like we've seen many times before, Michael Walker II assumes the lead. Now, we've seen this, and he never gets a timely caution. Will he get it this time? I mean, if he would have from 12th on back a lap down. He would be the race leader. He's begging for one. Lester coming up to take the lead from him. So Lester on the same strategy. These guys both begging for a caution. Tom Lester to the lead.
How about that? Tom Lester.
And you see right now that Sheffield is really pushing his car. He had a chance to get around Reiner, and he couldn't get it done.
I am loving Tom Lester being up there. I'm sorry. I'm reveling in the joy.
Absolutely. Tom Lester having himself a night. I love seeing it. Even, and this is not just a fuel mileage thing. He ran up front in the top 5 for a long time. Got involved in that wreck. That caused him some grief. But now, he's 1 caution away from having fresh tires and the lead.
I'll tell you, Michael Walker has been really impressive too. You know, not only in this series and the other series, he won the other night at Atlanta. I mean, they can put a race together. And yes, if they get that caution, man, they are in the catbird seat.
Others on this strategy, or at least one other, Eric Whiting in the 13th. He's currently in 3rd position, up 26 spots. So again, waiting on a caution that likely won't come, but who knows? One of these times it's got to work. You see Rachel Hunt working around there. So Rachel moving up, trying to get a lap back actually. She's currently in 24th. She'll be on the lead lap if this whole thing cycles through. You go up to Sheffield behind Reiner. So there is what probably will, oh, actually Jackson's in front of both of them, and Leal's in front of Jackson. So Leal, first man out from pit stops, him and Jackson, now a couple of seconds in front of Reiner and Sheffield.
They are really clicking off some laps. I figured they would pour the coals on to try to catch back up, but I mean, 2.5 seconds, really. I mean, that's going to be, I think George may have the upper hand in this.
Well, I disagree. I mean, Reiner is about 6/10 faster than those two. The only problem is going to be, will he wear off the good before he gets up there to battle him?
Yeah, and that's the only reason why I said that George could possibly, you know, have an upper hand. But yeah, he is clicking off some good lap times.
Jackson down to the bottom, trying to push through George Leal. George wraps the high side, a great drive by him. He'll hold on to the lead, but Jackson continues his fight. Side by side as Reiner and Sheffield close in. The 86 throws it in hard, trying to slide it up the track in front of Leal. Can't quite get there. He'll get it here in one, though, so how about Jason Jackson? He'll get by Leal here. Leal trying to push, can't get back on the outside. Here comes Reiner. So now, almost 3 wide. My goodness, this thing tightening up. Reiner's got work to do on the bottom. This is maybe going to allow Sheffield to catch back up. Reiner pushing hard, he'll clear.
Well, I guess I lost my faith in that one, and Bryce just blinked out. Maybe it'll be a Bryce and Sheffield show now.
Yeah, I think it's quite evident that's what's going to happen here. Sheffield has got around Leal. Now he's working on Jackson. He's got to make quick work of him and not let Reiner get away. Going to use Otto Viani as a pick, but no, Jackson comes underneath him. The 36 is clear now, so Reiner about 7/10 ahead of him. But your race leader remains Tom Lester. Lester coming in, it looks like. Here he comes. A good pit stop from Tom, so he'll have fresh rubber and a ton of work to do. New race leader, Eric Whiting. And it's going to be temporary as Whiting goes up into the wall, and here comes Reiner.
Yeah, they've really spread out right now, so they can really click some laps off to the ends. And we see some other guys that have jumped back in the mix. I tell you, Buckshot has had a really good recovery from after being in that wreck.
Lance Rivka back in 11th. He's down 9 spots. A couple of those are pit stops that still need to come. Where did I say Jason Spear would end up? Top 10. He's in 10th.
And he's running pretty consistent, usual Spear times and whatnot. But now's the time to go. You got to go get it if you want to get a podium finish.
Definitely got to go get it. You see Lester back in that view here, if I can find him. So there is Lester fighting with A Bear. Lester got a ton of work. He slipped to 28th from the lead. Up front, Reiner, Sheffield, Jackson, Leal. So these 4, your main contenders. Lap 126 and 160. I'm putting back my 5th corn dog.
Did you put mustard on it this time?
Always mustard, a lot of mustard. Got to be warmed, though. I want that preheated mustard there, Adam.
How about you, Baron? How you eat your corn dog?
I was always a ranch guy.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Loud. That's foul.
No, you dip it in ranch.
Ranch is good.
Yeah.
Whatever. This must be some kind of southern thing. I don't know what's going on up here in the booth right now.
I'm from Boston. We put brown gravy on our fries, too.
Well, that's just natural. There's nothing wrong with that.
I agree. Smart man.
Now, you want me to shock people? I put vinegar on my French fries.
I do that too. I love it.
I've heard of that. I don't know that I've
collard
ever had it, but
greens.
I've heard of it.
I've gone to the States, gone to a restaurant and asked for vinegar, and they look like, I mean, like I'm crazy, and you mean the stuff we clean with? I'm like, yeah, just bring it out.
Yeah.
So Reiner has assumed the lead and everything. Now Sheffield tracking, running them down here. And a little lap traffic slows him down a little bit there, but Sheffield looking really racy. He's closed in about 5 car lengths to about 5 car lengths away.
Oh, we got a wreck on the backstretch. 6 to 3 just turned Brantley around.
So Brantley involved. There is Brantley, slow on the track. Little damage on the right front.
Wow, that's going to give the lucky dog to Adam Kulikowski.
So a little
and
late.
Tom's going to have to stay out.
Yeah, a little late for Lester in that. And wow, that was, that looked like it was more like Brantley just kind of cleared himself on the nose of the 63 there. 63 come down the track a little bit there, but racing deal there between those two, and we get under caution. Whole race turned on its head here. Pit stops commencing.
Just like last time. Just like last time.
Now, where is the 2-tire stop, Adam? Who's going to do it?
If I had to say, it's going to be Bryce. Bryce. The sandbagger.
You got food on the brain.
Well,
Yeah,
ever since we talked about up there, he's out in pit road too. Did he take 2? That's the question.
So we sit here looking at Leal and Ripka. Who's going to come out first? Kulikowski, Reiner, Sheffield, Jackson, Torgerson. Nobody with a 2-tire stop.
Nobody.
Shocking. And Leal has faded dramatically on pit road to 11th.
That's very unleal-like.
Yeah,
Very.
21-second pit stop there. Fixing some damage, doing something. Could be something at home. We do talk about that. Those things happening. Not
Well,
sure.
I was really watching, Rachel must have not liked her second set of tires because she really fell off on that last run. There was a couple of guys that faded back big time.
Well, I will say this, Rachel, as the race goes on, her physical limitations due to Parkinson's and other problems that she has, it does become more of a chore. That's not a flat-out excuse because it's not always the case, but you must realize these races are a little bit long for her, so second half much tougher than the first.
Well, Tom's going to definitely get that wave around. I figured he would stay out to get back in there, but he's got his hands full to, get back up to the front. Oh, they didn't get the wave around, did he?
He's waiting on it. Looks like he's trying to save fuel or something down there. I don't know what's going on. He should be the lucky dog, shouldn't he?
No, who was it that got
Is
the
that Herb Ashley?
No, it was let me see. Not Brantley. Kulikowski got the lucky dog.
All right, so Kulikowski, your lucky dog. Tom Lester, unfortunately, will not be able to pit. He's getting the wave around, so things are really not falling his way on a night where he had a top 5 car. Very impressive, but we've got to get up front here. It's Reiner and Sheffield, Torgerson and Jackson. Claus Williams into the top 5 with Eric Whiting, so those two really come forward. Michael Walker the second into 7th, and Paul K. Travis 8th. It's Leal and Ripka. Holy cow, we have shook up the field. Green flag down and away. We're back racing. Jackson underneath Sheffield for second.
Yeah, oh man, Jackson got a heck of a run, but here comes Sheffield back on the high side, Dean.
Yeah, he had a great entry, but Sheffield a great exit, and now they've evened out. Looks like Jackson will get that spot. Torgerson
Full
behind him, fighting off Williams and Whiting.
Yeah, that was full send, wasn't it? I mean, that was all in.
So new people up front, and they're fighting those sparks early. You can see that splitter or perhaps the skirt grinding on the track.
Yeah, it's definitely go time for these guys, and you see some guys really charging the corner to try to break their competitor getting in the corner, and some of the guys are pushing up right now and not able to get the power down on the exit of the corner.
Sheffield just set the best lap of the race as he tries to get back up. He's got back by Jackson. He's loose. Wow. That thing broke on him on exit, but he pulled her back together. Jackson comes right to his bumper. Torgerson underneath of Jason Jackson making a move.
Torgerson's had a good race tonight.
Hit the wall.
Yeah, I see a couple guys. They're really trying to charge at high side right now to make some spots up, but they're getting really loose. They're being impatient on the exit of 4.
Opportunity.
Torgerson's got no choice down there.
Walker's car bouncing all over the track. He is catching every bump there's seemingly on the track.
Yeah, he's got no choice. I mean, they're just ganging up.
Walker and Torgerson, as they didn't see each other or something. Very interesting there. Whiting stuck on the bottom. While this goes on up front, it's Reiner, Sheffield, Jackson, Williams, and Torgerson.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Lance has had a real good comeback, from the earlier incident with him in the race. He's crawled his way back up to 7th place. So that's a heck of a comeback.
Yeah,
Here's
sure.
a comeback up front. Sheffield rocking the high side. Going to have a big run here. What can he do with it? He's looking to cut underneath the Reiner.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if he's going to have the same patience as he had Sunday night.
Another little crack from the booth.
And just slight one.
Well, we all know as race car drivers, the one thing we have is extremely long memories, Adam.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm really proud of seeing Michael Walker up here, too. He's given his car a heck of a run tonight.
He is, and he's fighting for everything he's got. With 18 to go, there is no laying down now, folks. Whatever you got, let's see it. Good hard race. Battle for the race lead. Sheffield side by side with Reiner. Reiner holding him off. This track may be the most famous track for the slide job. And it could be engaged at any time.
I haven't heard that said that way in a long time.
I think that was Richmond, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it? My bad. But very similar, Richmond to Iowa.
I tell you, Carlos Williams having a good run after having his car turned backwards most of the race last time. He's had a good comeback.
What a race for him, Adam. I mean, the 16 up here in 4th, great run for him.
Yeah, he turned a lot of laps last night. He's got a clean car, been quiet, silently making his way up here, racing with the up front guys. It's a good night for him.
Absolutely. A little further back, you got Paul Kay leading George Leal. On the inside, it's Buckshot there, stuck on the bottom. Telling you, don't want to be on the bottom here, folks, when there's traffic. You can't filter to the wall, your car stalls out, and it's just a frustrating experience as the freight train gets engaged. There goes Leal. Now Spear will jump on the outside of Ripka and say, my turn.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Jackson hadn't turned a wick up yet. And with the laps clicking down like they are, it's time for him. He's got to get in this mix.
I think
which
the
lap
whip's
is go
turned all
time
the
for
way
you?
up, Aaron.
Oh yeah, oh definitely, right? Like that's why I was just asking Adam. Like, at what point do you see the lap on the wall and go, "Wait, I gotta go. It's 12 laps to go."
Yeah, it's go time. I'm hammered down, driving the wheels off of it.
Well, let's hop on board with Jackson and take a quick look as you see the battle up in front of him here. What do we see from Jason Jackson here, Baron?
Well, we're seeing a nice steady wheel. He's still got some ground to make up here. I don't see any, quick motions to the outside, so I don't know if he's got his right foot into it as much as some of the other guys are.
Yeah, looking pretty smooth here. A standard style drive here by Jason Jackson. And he might be
Dean, I love
at
this
this
view.
point, Baron, to just sit here and kind of see what happens and hope, hey, maybe these two will get to fighting here in the next couple laps and pull me right in.
Yeah, it looks like he's charging the corner here a little more than the other guys are. So he's making up a lot of ground on entry, but he gives it up on the exit.
Yeah, it looks like he's
love this
closing
view.
in severely on entry there.
He did in one, but I mean, look, it's all subjective. If they're still getting smaller at your windshield, it's not working, right?
Well, one thing I always think is I'm catching someone when I'm watching the windshield. Like, I know I'm closer, and I look at that relative, still the same, Baron.
Well, the question is, when you get to that point, do you want to be the bug or do you want to be the windshield?
Yeah, those are the questions of racing, aren't they?
That's right. And it looks like Reiner is taking that more advantage of using up the whole track. And once he does that, and the line that he's taking, he's just cutting the air right off of Sheffield's nose. He's got his work cut out for him if he's going to get up beside him again.
Yeah, you're running out of time because, I mean, we're looking in on Torgerson. He tried to make a move on Williams. Leal trying to make a move on Walker. Those moves just not working. And I'm thinking that if Sheffield gets there, where does he go? Because it's just so hard to pass here.
It is.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump over you, Baron, but I mean, what would you do, Baron? Would you go high or low?
I mean, at this point, put it where they ain't. Like, I'm a firm believer in keeping the headlights with as much air as possible. Closing laps, tires be damned, you got to go.
I'm going higher than high. You're a line off the wall. I'm going on the wall. I got to get above you. It's the only way I think you can pass here. And one way or another, we're going to get her done. And you see Sheffield's giving it everything he's got. There's just nothing left there. That car's starting to give way.
Yeah, and that's why I like calling him the sandbagger, because he just takes care of his tires. He shows you just enough of his car to make you think, okay, I got to run at you. As soon as you think that, the sand starts falling out the car and he drives off.
Well, Berthwick coming up into the picture here. Paul Berthwick back in 28th place, a lap down, and he's almost into the rear end of Leal, up the track, almost into Walker, and he is. They're wrecking. And there goes Tony Ratliff with 3 to go. We're under caution. So Berthwick up here racing. I'm not sure what he was doing racing these guys like this or what he was racing for. A lap down, and now we're under caution.
That's tough.
2 tires or 4.
Or none.
Yep, or none.
Let's get a look at it here. I mean, this was crazy. We go back a little bit here and just watch what Paul's doing. I mean, he's down on the low side. There's no problem here. High side coming around. He drives in too deep, gets loose, corrects up the track, trying to hold on to it. Now powers through and just, I mean, that's the end of Walker. Walker having such a great night, too. What a shame for Michael Walker.
Yeah, that's That's a tough one, and you know, that's usually what happens when you get down to the end of these races. I mean, you never know what'll happen.
Well, the funny thing was, they weren't racing for position, so a little odd there. But nonetheless, guys on pit road, guys like Tom Lester down on pit road, Brantley, Hunt, Kulikowski, all getting tires. So these are all outside of 18th place. Not going to have an effect on the win, perhaps, but definitely look to improve their position and race up their way into maybe the top 10.
Yeah, I think it could pay off. It could. I mean, it'll definitely gain him more spots than what he had. I mean, we only have one green, right, checkered. So
I mean, I always say, Adam, like, well, you're not going to lose nothing if you come out in the same spot as you were. So why not pit if you're at the back of the field, right?
yeah, but with one green, white, checkered, all it's going to take is one person to mess up, and it's Dunsky.
Got any predictions on which one person? Now, hold on.
I
Don't say
I
anything.
do, but it is not the RGR way to say that.
All right.
We are not broadcasting it either.
No.
All right. Brian
You're
Helm
right.
back on pit road. Helm, another guy who had a good car incident early on, and yeah, just not his night tonight. He takes it in for some service.
We got some hate mail one time for predicting a wreck, didn't we?
Oh, I get all kinds of it. I just don't open it.
Yeah.
I got a
was
pile
a
of it
different
right here
series.
in the living room. I put a
It was a different series,
little
though.
a pillowcase over it and use it as a pillow. So Reiner and Sheffield, Jackson and Williams. Let's focus on a couple of guys who got shots up here, like Williams, Torgerson, Leal, and Travis. Can they do something here, Adam? I mean, is it possible to come from 4th or 6th and get something done here?
You know, it just depends if the bumper comes out. But, you know, with every restart, you don't know who's got the freshest right front. And I think you really had to cool down your tires under that caution. So, I'm liking Bryce. I mean, he's going to get the jump, but I also like Jackson.
So you're a multi-better type of guy.
Yeah, because, I mean, it depends on...
Well, let me put it to Barron. Barron, I've got the top 5. Who you got?
Well, truthfully, we got the top 5. All right, I'll take 6. Give me George Liu.
All right, here we go. Bryce Reiner, Brandon Sheffield. Another good start. Now up high, Sheffield not quite good enough. Jackson comes underneath them. Sheffield needs a heck of a corner, and he gets it. What a drive, the 36 powering through. So Sheffield has got to make the best corners of his life here. Jackson says, hold on, don't forget about me. He comes back underneath, but stalls out. Reiner gets the white flag. We will race to the checker.
Yep. I thought that a little bit of a lead was going to be what he needed to close the deal, and looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah, too much of a jump. Reiner, Sheffield throws it in deep to no avail. Bryce Reiner, Batman. Whoa, he's loose! He's loose late! Oh my God, he almost threw it away out of the
almost
line.
gave it away.
But Batman
goodness.
comes home victorious. Holy cow! A little heart-stopping moment there.
Whoa, kid. Whoa, kid.
Craziness. Almost losing it right before victory. Wow, thankfully for him, that story does not get to be told. Sheffield ends up in 2nd with Jackson in 3rd. My goodness.
Nothing like a little drama.
And there goes Reiner sliding it just like he did. He slid it by the start-finish line twice now. He'll burn them down. Let's get a look at our race results here, see how everybody fared. As he burns them down and keeps burning them down. There is our result. So That can't be our results. This is showing George Leal as a victor, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I think that was practice. So we get the race. Bryce Reiner, of course. Sheffield and Jackson, your top three. Claus Williams, great race for him. He comes home in fourth. Buckshot, great recovery into fifth. Leal slid a bit there at the end. I can't remember exactly what happened to him. Torgerson in seventh. Travis Sr. in eighth. It's Bear in ninth. Spear with a top 10. Michael Fleming with that beautiful Bulldog car there, the Mack truck car in 11th. Corey Leal, Ian Spear, nice finish. Tom Ashley as well. Kulikowski, Brantley, Gilly, Helm, and Bruce both look good early, but it wasn't meant to be. You can find your other drivers in here, and I know there's one near the bottom that had a heck of a start to this race, and Mr. Person called to duty, perhaps, relinquished the lead there and ends up in last place. Wow. And Michael Walker, you were talking about, Adam. Great run for him.
Yeah, I just, I hate it from him, but, he was, him and Tom both, they just had great cars and didn't get the finish that I think they should have, they deserved, actually.
Well, that's absolutely true. Right now, let's take a short commercial break. We'll come back and do some race interviews. A little look at the BMW M2 machine there. Any of you guys tried it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, well, we're not big road racers in here, but I do like me a BMW. I might get it just drive around town. Nonetheless, a thrilling finish here this evening. Let's see if we get ourselves into some race interviews. As I try to bring in Mr. Jason Jackson. Adam, I believe you're down there with him.
Hey, Jason, it looks like you had a pretty good car. Did you have anything for those guys at the end?
Absolutely not. I'm going to be honest. Bryce was putting on a show. I just had nothing for him. I maybe had something for Brandon, but I doubt it.
Yeah, it looked like you had a real good restart. I was telling Dean and Barron, I thought you had I picked you as a pick to have a shot to win it, and thought you were going to pull it off going down into one. Did you get tight on him trying to pull that off?
No, actually, when Bryce kind of arched down in front of me, I had to kind of wait and check up a little bit. If not, I felt like I was going to hit him. And I did not want to hit him or knock him up out of the way, so I just lost my momentum and wasn't ever to get moving again.
Yeah. What did you think? How did the car overall feel tonight? Do you feel it was pretty racy?
It wasn't bad. It was a little tight if you abused the right front. It was kind of, a give and take of how hard you want to run at the beginning and maintain a pace to stay in front of people and all that stuff. It was kind of a balance.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your third place finish. You got anybody you would like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Brandon, of course, for finishing in front of me. Being a teammate, I'd wouldn't rather have anybody else do it. Congrats to Bryce. Ed Kane, CPA. It's tax time now. He's person to go to for taxes. We have East Coast Web Printing for sponsoring the series, and then the guys at RGR, the admins and everything. I know they had a tough week, but they still put on a heck of a race. And I personally would have much rather been at Martinsville still, even though I did finish third here. Of course, Derek, Nick, Custom Works RC Cars, Futaba Radios, Civil Tech, just the whole GDR bunch over there. We're kind of firing on all cylinders when we're all here. So that's about it.
Well, congratulations again on your third place finish. Back to Dean.
All right, that was Jason Jackson with a great third place finish, and I'm down here with Mr. Brandon Sheffield with a second place finish. Brandon, giving it your all, getting her loose off the corners. You're trying to put so much power down. Just wasn't meant to be tonight.
No, I mean that's Iowa. That top lane's really strong when you try to pass somebody, and if you have two cars that are pretty close to the same speed like Bryce and I were, it's really hard to find a way around them. But fun race. 2 GDR cars in the top 3, I'll take it.
Absolutely. Now we get that late caution, Brandon. I mean, were you thinking, hey, we got new life here, baby, let's go?
You know, I was almost wishing there wasn't going to be a caution because I was starting to build a run back to Bryce, and I think I was going to have one more chance at him. But with the restart, you know, I kind of figured he was going to get a jump on me off the restart, and I was never going to get back to him, which is what ended up happening. But yeah, I was hoping nobody took tires, and that turned out to be the case. And yeah, I mean, once nobody takes tires, then it's kind of just get in line and try to hold your position and hope Bryce slips up, which of course he's not going to.
Yeah, it was tough. Now you end up 14 spots. You know, you had to work your way through some traffic. How difficult was it here? I mean, I know there's multiple grooves, but it's hard to use the bottom 2 grooves when there's people on the high side of you, isn't it?
It is for sure. And George was probably the best one at doing that tonight. You know, he was, especially in 3 and 4, up against the wall most of the run, and it made him almost impossible to pass. Seems like early on, I don't know, I didn't feel that good in practice, but we got in here and got in race pace and was able to move forward, you know, get up 5th or 6th or 7th, wherever I landed, you know, pretty easily, I thought, and then ride from there. But then, you know, to go forward through the top 5 is pretty tough. And, you know, pit strategy helped a little bit, and, you know, guys just slipping up or catching up, sleeping a little bit, that certainly helped as well. But it's a tough place to pass, especially when this track is as hooked up as it is.
Now, Brandon, as we get to a little more serious subject here in the booth, it is ranch or mustard on your corn dog?
Neither. Why are we putting ranch on a corn dog, boys?
Thank you, Brandon. Yes, we don't put ranch on our corn dogs around here, but nonetheless, neither.
Well, hang on. What is a corn dog? It's a hot dog on a stick. It's already got something on it. We don't need to put more stuff on it.
All right,
Brandon. Wait. You put ranch on your pizza sometimes? Put ranch on breadsticks? It's a breaded corn dog.
Very different breading, Baron.
Just say no
I
to
agree.
all 3.
How do you sit in the
I'm
booth
way out in
for 2
left
hours
field.
a night?
It's tough. You got to drink a lot, Brandon. That's how you get through these nights.
We do have a common bond on that.
Well, that's true.
Little fun in the booth here tonight. Congrats on second, Brandon. And I'm sure you know this little rivalry, and you know there's others in this rivalry as well. They're fun, but frustrating at times. I'm sure you'll be looking for revenge at the next one. Like I said, congrats on second. We'll turn it over to you, brother.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, it's so cool to have a group of guys that you can race with and race hard. And, you know, we'll all be talking to each other throughout the week about how much fun we had and go from there. So, yeah, shout out to Bryce coming from the back to the front. That was a heck of a drive. So great win for him. Got to thank you guys for putting on an awesome broadcast. Got to thank the RGR boys for putting on an awesome league. You know, I kind of like Jason. I wish we were at Martinsville. Obviously, I, you know, did well there on Sunday. But I thought Iowa was a good, you know, way to kind of get away from Martinsville, but still have a short track feel. So I think that was a good decision. Really appreciate all those guys do at RGR. East Coast Web Printers for putting a little money behind this series and making sure we're on the air and keeping this series up and running. GDR guys, just Jason and I here tonight, but 2 cars on the podium. That's pretty great. So I got to thank, you know, Jason and Ed and Nick and Derek, for those guys when they can join when they can. Feel like we're all rocking and rolling about as good as we can be. On the car, Caden Hammond Foundation, CadenHammondFoundation.org if you want to learn more, and Ed Kane CPA. So got just under 2 weeks left before tax time is up. So give Ed a call, and he can probably still fit you in if you need a little bit of tax help.
All right, Baron, that's second place finisher, the 36, Brandon Sheffield. And he doesn't put ranch on corn dogs.
I feel like I might be the only one, the outlier here at RGR that does the ranch thing with corn dogs. Bryce, you're the winner of this race. Weigh in on the corn dog situation. Mustard, ketchup, or ranch?
Well, definitely not ranch. And for corn dogs, I'd probably eat them plain or, ketchup. But no mustard, no ranch. That's just gross.
Oh, man, just when I was starting to
And
like you.
well, what's your
I
beverage
said
of choice
ketchup,
with your
maybe.
favorite corn dog?
Beverage of choice?
Yes.
God, I don't know. Probably milk, I guess, or probably like a soda.
Okay.
It's a little indie
Someone who clearly,
championship drink.
Yeah.
yeah, somebody who clearly knows his race lore. So, speaking of race lore, Bryce, you won the race tonight. We're getting to that, right? We're getting to the important part. Yeah, won the race tonight. Tell us about your evening.
Oh my God, it was up and down for sure. I mean, for a second, I didn't think I was gonna make this race. First off, had a little issue with IR. I was a little bit above, so I couldn't really join the session. So I either wasn't going to make it or was gonna run Legends at Oxford, which I did, and I think that kind of helped me with this car and track. So, lost some iRating there, but wasn't too bad. So I was able to join pretty much 5 minutes before the qualifying session happened. Since I did miss the pit party and all that stuff, I did start towards the tail end of the field. So it was challenging for sure to get through the field like that. But like before, I know this track, and early on when we had the Gen 6 there, I want to say last season, I think, I was super good here, and I could run the bottom. I want to say better than most, but I'm not going to toot my own horn here. Um, but I do love the bottom. Turns 1 and 2, you do have that bump, but I think it does help the car turn just a little bit more, and so you can get the throttle down. So that's how I was making my passes early on, and then kind of do a high to low kind of thing when the tires were starting to get some wear and tear to them, and was able to make some moves there, and then catch back up to the top 10, which were pretty stacked up when I caught them. I was very, very surprised how close they all were, and I just wish there wasn't a caution going to come out there early on, just to kind of, save that extra pit stop and kind of do it on pit strategy.
Well, you said something very interesting earlier about IR. So, for the folks at home that may not know what you're talking about, clarify what you meant by IR requirements.
Well, so for various leagues or for officials or anything like that, you need to have a set IR, or I don't. It's like a rating per se, and the lower you are, obviously you're just starting out or something like that. And I rating doesn't really mean a thing, to be honest. But in leagues like this, where there is a cap, um, you got to stick to it. But SR is something you want to watch out for, because that's how you can upgrade your licenses and all that stuff. So that's where you want to focus on. But if you're winning races and you're finishing top fives, top tens throughout either officials or anything like that, you will gain some IR, um, and that's huge, especially if you want to race with some very fast guys on this simulator, per se. And so yeah, IR doesn't mean a thing, but for leagues they do, and I was over it this past weekend. So I don't know if this is going to be my last race. So if it is, it's this is Amazing League. If anybody wants to join, please reach out to the admins there. But yeah, we went out with a bang. That's for sure.
It was a hell of a win tonight, Bryce. Dean, Adam, Bryce Reiner, your race winner tonight, and we hope we get to see him next week.
Yeah, boy, do we. I mean, we can't lose Batman. We don't want to see that happen, that's for sure. And great win for him. And I certainly hope he's not gone. Anyway, what a race we had tonight. Couple of cautions bring us a interesting finish. Reiner holds them off. Sheffield and Jackson do all they can to try and get it. But for myself, Dean Doucette, for Mr. Baron Labosco, and our special guest host, the Bulldog, Adam Newton, that's going to wrap it up here from Iowa and the Corn Dog 200, where I didn't have 200, but I tried. And we'll see you right here next time on Wind Tunnel TV.